Things I hate about India. In this video, I'm going to tell you the things that I don't like so much and that I don't miss so much. Creepy men. I don't miss being stared at when I'm walking down the street, or when I'm on a train, or just standing around for no reason on the road. In India, I know, like other friends of mine, other girlfriends of mine, we've all been stared at. We've all been stared at shamelessly. Like they know they're staring. We know that they know that we know that they are staring at us, and they still don't stop staring. They start calling us names. They start saying rubbish, and you know what I'm talking about. I don't miss that at all here because it very rarely happens. And I can walk down any street at any time of the night or any time of the day, and I will be fine because I know that I feel safe enough to do that. Because even though there are, of course, Germany and Hamburg has its share of creepy men, it's not as much as I have experienced in Bangalore. I don't miss driving in Bangalore at all. I feel like every time we come to visit, the traffic has gotten a little bit worse, and it's very stressful to drive there. Plus, here, even though we don't have a car, because we don't really need a car, I don't miss driving because the public transport is so efficient. To get from one place to the other, there is a train, there's a bus, or there's a ferry, although I've never used the ferry here. But yeah, it's super efficient, and even if there is no train or bus, walking is the best here because it's not, it's like really big footpaths, unlike in Bangalore, and it's not for standstill traffic and motorcycles to ride on, because it's actually for people, and it's divided into it's divided for pedestrians and for cycles, and this is very strict because you can't walk on the cycle lane, and bikers can't cycle on the walking lane. And I love this about Hamburg because it's like super strict and super efficient, and it's not a life or death situation to cross a traffic light, because when it's green and the pedestrian gets the importance. So you just walk like you own it, because if God forbid some car comes to hit you, then that's it. You call the police, and the driver is the one paying the fine, not the pedestrian, because the light is green. I don't miss people interfering in everything that they don't have any business in. Like, for example, sitting on a bus or sitting on a train in India means having to make small talk and conversation and being asked questions and all of this, unless you're sitting with earphones. But sometimes even with earphones, you get asked questions and you have to answer them, and if you don't answer them, then it's so rude and whatever. But here, you only have to talk when you want to talk. Not even when you want to talk, because everyone has their own thing to do. Everyone has their own, like, they're on a super strict time schedule, and they are getting to work or they're getting somewhere, and they don't have time to make small talk. And it's definitely not the kind of situation where I don't know, in the summer your bra strap is seen because you're wearing something airy, and some auntie will come and say, "Oh, beta, your bra strap is seen, put it back inside." No, nobody will care, because you can dress the way you want, you can look the way you want, you can have purple and blue hair for all you care, because a lot of people do have that here, and no one will say anything, because to each his own. Seriously. Moving to Germany has made me super independent, not in terms of not wanting to be around people, but independent in terms of doing things on my own. For example, I never did household stuff, or very rarely did household things when I was back in Bangalore, because we always had help. The houses that I come from, we always had help, and I never had to sweep, I never had to wash the dishes, I never had to take the garbage out. I never had to, you get it. I didn't have to do all these things. But here, it's very expensive, first of all, to have help. And everyone does their own thing themselves. It's not a question of standard, or it's not a question of how well off you are if you're doing things on your own. Everyone does everything on their own because it's their dirt and it's their mess, and they are the ones to clean it up. And I really respect that, especially after 3 years of being here, because it really doesn't take that much time or effort, and you can be very efficient about it. The other thing about being independent is like when you buy something big and you want to get it delivered. For example, we got a dining table from IKEA during our first year here, and I thought that someone will come deliver it for free, and because you have to assemble it, that someone will come and assemble it, as is the norm in Bangalore, because these are things that are taken for granted. But we had to, first of all, transport it to our house ourselves, and we had to assemble it and build it ourselves. And it's really not that hard, guys, and it's super empowering, especially for me to do it as a woman, I think, because you don't associate, like normally you don't associate women with building things, and it's really not that difficult. Not that I did it by myself, but still, I could do it by myself, maybe, but maybe like in 5 years or something. I would really love to have our Indian politicians and journalists and everyone in the media to talk about things that really matter and things that really mark progress. Like in Berlin, they are discussing making public transport free, and I think this is amazing because free public transport means lesser traffic, means better air, better for the environment, better for everybody. And not talk about like endlessly banning films that are not to your taste, or because you think they're not portraying history properly, or talking about celebrities getting married and having kids. And there are more important things that we should be discussing, and I don't miss Arnab Goswami screaming into my ears and not letting anyone else talk. Yeah, so those are some of the things that I don't miss and that I don't really like about India and Bangalore. I also think that Sophie wouldn't like being in Bangalore so much because she's a bit of a traumatized drama queen, and she wouldn't be able to walk out on the street like how she does here because of the stray dogs, and she would be really scared, no? Yeah, so that's it for this episode. From the last episode where I spoke about the things that I miss about India, my mother was really concerned about how my eyebrows look. So she gave me this. It's a comb for my eyebrows, and I used it today before shooting this. Please tell me if it makes a difference, and if you think it does, and if you think this looks neater, then please let me know, because I know it'll make my mother very happy. Yeah, see you next week.